Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer. You know, there's a lot of people out there that will say the wheel is the most important invention in the history of civilization. But if you ask me, the most groundbreaking invention was the shovel. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Tapestry from Stonemaier Games. Hello everybody, we'll be back to the review in just a second. I just want to take a minute to tell you to go visit Galaxy of Games in West Jordan, Utah. It is Utah's newest game store. It's run by friends of mine. It's a great place, great selection, great prices, well-lit, clean bathrooms. If you go in there, ladies and gentlemen, and you tell them that I sent you, the Discriminating Gamer, and you use the promo code TDG, you'll get 10% off of your purchase. Check out Galaxy of Games. In Tapestry from Stonemaier Games, 1 to 5 players attempt to build the greatest civilization through seeking technology, through geographic expansion, through building up their own unique country, and of course, through gaining points. Now this is a game that has been around for a few years. I'm not going to give too big of a rules breakdown here because I just kind of want to get to the meat of it and then tell you what my thoughts are. In Tapestry, each player gains their own player board. They're going to have kind of their own unique civilization to start with that has their own advantages. They're also going to kind of have a grid geographic location with some spaces you cannot build on that will also count during the course of the game. Your player board has various buildings and items that you're going to remove to place on your grid board. And there's also spots for tapestry cards, which you will be playing at the end of every civilization phase. Now on your turn throughout this game, what you're doing is you're moving a marker along one of 4 tracks. Your military track, your technology track, your exploration track, and your science track. As you move along these spaces, you're gaining different abilities, different resources. For instance, along the exploration track, you're actually going to go ahead and get exploration tokens that you can then place on the board to actually expand your empire geographically on the board. If you go ahead and go along the technology track, you're able to draw technology cards, which will give you various advantages throughout the game. If you do the military track, then you can actually build military buildings and move your military forces out further along on the board. And if you do the science track, you're going to get all sorts of kooky innovations. Now, players have a number of resources. Now, every round as you're playing these resources, you're depleting them. Now, going up on some of the tracks may actually give you some more of these resources, but as you gradually, over the course of the round, as you're going around and around, taking different actions, going to different places, you are depleting your resources. One of the things you're doing, you go to certain places on the tracks, you're making buildings, you're taking the buildings off of your player board, you're putting them on your grid to cover up spaces and hopefully score points that way. You may get to places where you can build monuments. You can build monuments on your grid board that also help you as well to fill up spaces. And then, of course, you're also building, as I say, these military outposts on the game board as well. So there's a lot of different things you're doing here, but you're also drawing tapestry cards. You're getting a number of tapestry cards, and these are different ways you can help your civilization to grow. Now, once you have depleted all of your resources and you can't do anything else, or you choose not to do anything else, you can go ahead and declare you're going to go to an income phase where you essentially place your tapestry card down, indicating that an era is over for you. You can collect the various resources from the various tracks you've got. If you've covered up enough kind of lines or up and down lines on your grid board, you can get points that way. So you go ahead, you're seeing all the different ways that you can collect points. You're adding that point track around the board. You're gaining resources, and then you're preparing for the next round. Now, as you're moving forward in the game, and as you're placing these tapestry cards and your civilization is growing, you're getting new things, you're getting new advantages, you're also got your own little civilization that's unique to you, that's allowing you to do specific things just for you. As these things are going on, as you end the your action phase, you go to your income phase and you lay down those tapestry cards, you're not doing those things at the same time. So different people are going to get ahead of other people. That can be a good thing. It could also potentially be a bad thing. Now, after 5 rounds, if you've completed your 5 rounds, you're effectively out of the game. Players can keep playing around you until they get to the end of their 5, and any passive abilities that you have can still kick in, can still give you points. But generally speaking, you're out of the game after you've played your last tapestry card. Now, once every player has finished, they've reached the end, they've done their last income phase, you go ahead, you see who has the most points, and whoever has the most points wins. Tapestry. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. So Tapestry is a game I've been interested in for a while, and I never got around to it. And I'm interested in it because it's a civilization building game. At least that's how it presents itself, as a civilization building game. And I'm a big fan of civilization building games. You know, I love Clash of Cultures and Sid Meier's Civilization: A New Dawn, to say nothing of kind of some of the science fiction ones like Eclipse and TI4. It's just a genre I really enjoy. I love civilization building games. And so this one really intrigued me. And I played several games from Stonemaier Games. And, you know, Stonemaier, they make a lot of games that are very Euro-y. And so I like a lot of games that Stonemaier does, but they're not necessarily games that I want to just constantly play. Like, I like Scythe, but it's not something I can play all the time, right? And a lot of, you know, some of the other games that Stonemaier does. Wingspan is another good example. I think Wingspan is a phenomenal game, but it's not something I'm going to be playing all the time. It's just, I prefer more Euro trash or pardon me, I prefer Ameritrash to kind of more Euro games. And that's just the way I'm built. But I always recognize Stonemaier Games makes really solid games. They make good games. And I was talking with Jamie recently, and I asked him, you know, I asked him a while back, do you have a copy of Tapestry? I'd love to review it. And he didn't for a long time, and he said, you know, when I get one in, I'll send one to you. So I was really delighted when here, not too long ago, I got this copy of Tapestry, and I'm super excited to finally play this. And my buddy Nate, he's played it before, so he sat down and he taught me the game, which is always fun to have somebody who can teach you a game. And he and Mike and I played a 3-player game of this the other night. And what I found is, first of all, its presentation as a civilization building game is kind of light. It's kind of light. This game is very Euro-y, right? It's really a Euro game. And it's got this kind of soft theme of civilization building, which, you know, is fine. But as I'm playing through it, you realize it's really about these 4 tracks. Which track do I want to move along? Which one do I think is going to benefit me most for my playing style and for my own unique civilization? And then how best can I manipulate my own board to get the most resources and to kind of fill up my grid in the best way, get those monuments. I'm really intrigued by the asymmetry of this game, of those different unique civilizations, because I think those are very cool. I think they're almost little mini games that you get there. I think I was playing one that was I can't remember who they were, but they would push your luck. You could roll die to try to get resources, and you could keep going, but if you rolled the same thing, you were screwed. And that was really a lot of fun. But anyway, there's a lot of different kinds of civilizations, and they do different things, and they're all interesting. There's the military one where you've got components on that mini board that you're kind of taking off to reveal certain things you get. So there's just a lot of really interesting asymmetry with the individual civilizations. But what was cool is there's also a lot of asymmetry as you're playing those tapestry cards, because those tapestry cards really change kind of some of your goals and some of the things you can do. So there's a lot of asymmetry that comes out there, and I like that quite a bit as well. I thought that was tremendous fun. But as I'm playing the game, and that asymmetry is kicking in, and you can kind of see the game is a race. In some ways, it's a race to the end of the individual tracks. In some ways, it's a race to, of course, obviously for the points. Some ways, it's a race to develop territory on the main board. In some ways, it's a race to get certain monuments. So there's real competition here, and there are some real tough decisions, particularly like when you're getting a lot of those different tapestry cards. It's like, well, which one do I want to play? Which one's going to give me the best advantages for this round and for the rest of the game? So that's pretty interesting. So I'll tell you right now, the game was not what I was expecting, because it's not a civilization building game like Clash of Cultures or Civilization. It's a very different one. It's a very Euro approach to civilization building. And yet, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was surprised when I kind of realized just how Euro-y it was. First of all, how easy it is. Now, there's a lot of iconography and there's a lot of stuff, but there's reference guides and stuff you get. There's a ton going on here, but it's actually really, really engaging, and it sucked me in very quickly. I'd say I'd probably put this toward the top of my favorite Euro games I've ever played, and I think I'm prepared to say this is probably my favorite Stonemaier game I've ever played. Stonemaier, like I say, they've got some real fun games, but this one, I don't know, this one just called me, and I think maybe it was just the fact that even though it's this very light civilization veneer, that's enough to suck me in, but then the mechanics here and the asymmetry I ate up. Really enjoyed Tapestry, and I know I'm late to the party on this. Many other people have talked about Tapestry. It's been out for years now, and some people have just, analyzed this thing to death. I kind of deliberately chose not to watch reviews or I mean, I had seen some years ago, but before I did this review, I decided I'm not going to watch anybody else. I just wanted to talk about it as though it's something new to me, and I wanted, which it is, and I wanted to present it in that light. And I got to tell you, I was really impressed with it. Really had a lot of fun with it. Like all Euros, it's not something I'm going to be getting out a lot to the table. That is to say, it's not going to come out, every week or every month or whatever. But this is one I can definitely see me breaking out, a few times a year and really having a ball with. But if you're somebody that loves Euros, I think you could play this one a lot more and get a kick out of it. Anyway, so that's where I'm coming from. Really enjoyed Tapestry. Recommendation for the discriminating gamer for Tapestry is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history and books on history and fun things like that. Please check it out, and please subscribe. I'd also ask you to please give a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot as well. Did you know in ancient Rome they had 4 different types of poisons? Now, poison 1, poison 2, and poison 3, they would kill you instantly. But poison 4, that just made your skin really scratchy. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
I remember back when we both started on Board Game Breakfast around the same time, and now look at us, both hosting illegitimate dental practices out of our basement.